Kawaki seems to have changed. His method of accomplishing his goals are getting darker and darker. But when did this all change? When did Kawaki change and become more like Ishiki or Tsuki? If you pay close attention, you would realize that this all happened because of the hidden truth about the karma. Kawaki is becoming more like Ishiki or Tsuki because of the true goal that the karma is trying to achieve. And we're going to break down exactly what it is. Let's be 100% honest. There is something about Kawaki, especially in the time skip, that just doesn't make sense. Kawaki tells us that he hates Jigen, but we see him use the same staff that Jigen used in the past. We also see how much pain and abuse Jigen brought to Kawaki's life, but Kawaki in the time skip seems to have developed a similar dressing style to Jigen. What happened to Kawaki, especially in the time skip, that has caused him to embrace Jigen's ways and methods? Did something happen to Kawaki in the time skip? Where did it all begin? This is the question that we are left with. However, the answer to this question doesn't even start in the time skip. It starts way before it. We start seeing that Kawaki and Jigen have similar ideologies way before. But the question is where exactly did it all go wrong? To answer this, we have to go back to the Code Arc, where we are presented with a weak Kawaki. A Kawaki unable to protect his loved ones because he no longer has the karma. In this instance, the karma represents power, and it was made clear to Kawaki that without the karma/power, Kawaki is useless and would just end up being killed just like regular shinobis. Without power, Kawaki can put in place his ideology and methods, which was shown and represented in the fight that Kawaki and Boruto had in their training. Kawaki wanted to impose his method and ideologies, and Boruto wanted to do the same. But because Kawaki didn't have karma, which represents power, he lost to Boruto and was unable to bring forth his plan. Without power, you just end up being used by the people around you, and when they are done, they just toss you away. Kawaki has been shown this concept over and over again in his life. Starting off with his father. Kawaki's father used his son to make sure that he would always have a bit of alcohol every day. When Kawaki's father got a better method of getting alcohol, he didn't hesitate to toss away his child in order to get more money to fulfill his alcohol addiction. Whenever people came into Kawaki's life, they only saw him as a tool. Kawaki was Ishiki's vessel, a tool that he needed to use so that he could come back to life. Kawaki was the sacrifice that Momoshiki needed to create a chakra fruit. Again and again, Kawaki has been reminded that he is only a tool. Every moment of Kawaki's life, he was a tool for someone else's use. But there was a moment of time. There was one instance in Kawaki's life when he was no longer a tool. A person didn't see him as a tool, but a person that deserves care. And that person has become Kawaki's reason for living, because he finally found a person who values him not for the things that he can do, but because he is human and deserves to be loved and cared for. Kawaki felt like he was no longer a tool. He was no longer a person that can just be used from person to person. He was a person of value. This is why he is so obsessed with Naruto and would do anything to protect him. And that's what allowed him to get stronger. And that's what allowed Kawaki to regain his karma, which represents power, as through his will to protect Naruto, Kawaki can do anything, and he is willing to go through anybody in his way to protecting the one he loves, Naruto. And that's the moment where everything changed for Kawaki. That's where Kawaki's ideology was negatively reinforced by the people around him. Because when Kawaki got his karma, he was no longer someone's tool. He was no longer in a position where people could use him. He was in a position of power. He was in a position where he could enforce his ideology. This time, Kawaki could do what he wants, using his own methods and way of thinking. As in the Code Arc, Kawaki was being pushed around by everybody around him, getting bullied by Code, getting dragged by Momoshiki. Kawaki without the karma was powerless. Kawaki was a victim. But when he finally regained his karma, when he finally regained power, he was no longer a victim. He was finally in control, as he was able to dominate the fight versus Code and Momoshiki, killing his brother in the process and accomplishing his goals using his own method. And just like right and wrong didn't matter to the people who used him in the past, right and wrong doesn't matter now. The only thing that matters is accomplishing your goal, and the only way to do that is by being strong. This is the same ideology that Jigen has, and is the reason why Kawaki seems to be so similar to Jigen in the future. It's because from the very beginning, Kawaki had a similar ideology to Jigen. This leads me perfectly to a theory made by one of my friends named Boruto. Make sure you go and check out his Twitter in the link in the description. He has been my friend since day one, and this video wouldn't be possible without him. But one of the theories that he came up with fit with this video so perfectly that I wanted to discuss it. So this theory deals with a potential requirement that one must meet in order to have a successful, compatible, or even perfect vessel. This theory was developed after noticing the parallels between Kawaki and Ishiki and Momoshiki and Boruto. Obviously, Boruto and Kawaki are two examples, so it doesn't necessarily confirm it, as we need more data to prove it. But it's just a cool theory, so let's discuss it. So apart from the obvious requirements like physical ability and mental toughness, he points out that there might be important requirements that separate a good and successful vessel from a perfect one, and that is similar ideology. For an Otsutsuki to truly find a perfect vessel, that Otsutsuki must find a vessel with a similar ideology as he has, and Boruto is the perfect example of this. The parallelism between Boruto and Momoshiki's ideologies, especially in the tuning exams, is clear and evident. During the tuning exams, it was clear that Boruto had not worked for his power. He was a gifted shinobi from birth. He relied on that, and when it didn't work in the tuning exams, his first instinct wasn't to train and develop his own power. No, he took a shortcut. He resorted to using other people's power. He resorted to cheating. But it's just like Momoshiki did. Momoshiki and Boruto are alike. Boruto didn't train for his power, and it was clear that he hadn't worked, as Sasuke was able to notice that Boruto's outfit was always in pristine condition, showing that he wasn't working, as his clothes were never dirty. Just like Momoshiki did, he would just skip the process of training and go straight to pills. As he said, using the pills that he took, he could gain power effortlessly and easily. After hearing that, Boruto finally starts to realize. He starts to realize that Momoshiki and him are the same. They have done the same things. They have resorted to the easy way. This is something that Naruto wouldn't do. As Naruto has said, there is no shortcut to becoming Hokage. And to Boruto, there was a shortcut. To Boruto, the shortcut was using the ninja tools and cheating. Just like Momoshiki, the shortcut was using the pills. This principle doesn't only apply to Boruto, it applies for Kawaki. Kawaki and Ishiki share the same ideology. But what exactly is Kawaki's ideology? How exactly could Kawaki be defined? Kawaki is a consequentialist, as he believes that the morality of an action is determined by its consequence. So if an outcome is bad, the action is bad. But if the outcome is good, then the action is good. So how does Kawaki demonstrate this ideology? The best example of Kawaki's ideology is his desire and attempt to kill Boruto, which for some odd reason people don't seem to understand. So let me break it down for you. Why Kawaki's action not only makes sense, but could be seen as right and justified. And yes, I said right and justified because it is the truth. And if you made it this far into the video, I believe that you are a smart person. So listen to what I have to say closely and generate your own opinion. Kawaki killing Boruto makes complete sense, and it is the right thing to do because it prevents a large amount of people from dying. Boruto hasn't been able to keep Momoshiki under check, and this is just the truth. We have seen this time after time. We have seen the damage that Boruto has caused by letting Momoshiki take over. It is not really his fault because he didn't want the karma, but it is just the truth. So killing Boruto could be seen as a justifiable act, as it would prevent the death of a lot of people. So if you hate Kawaki because of that, I just think you're wrong and you're a bit biased towards Boruto. Now what about the people who hate Kawaki for his desires? As we see in chapter 79, where he desires for Boruto to become an outsider, and then we see Kawaki and Boruto's roles reversed. First of all, Kawaki didn't tell Ida to do this. he just desired that Boruto would become an outsider so that if he killed Boruto, nobody would mourn his death or feel any type of way for his actions. Basically, he didn't want people to be biased towards Boruto just because he is the Hokage's son. Again, just to repeat so people can know, he didn't tell Ida to turn Boruto into an outsider, and Ida didn't even do it consciously. It's just something that happened in that moment. Kawaki's desires accidentally came to pass, and Kawaki just seized that opportunity. But now let's go to where a lot of people turn on Kawaki, when he lied that Boruto killed the Hokage. A lot of people hate Kawaki for doing this, but you have to think about what Kawaki was trying to achieve with his actions. Right now, Boruto is an outsider, and Kawaki told everybody that an outsider like Boruto, who was adopted in that family, has killed the Hokage. This lie doesn't change much in Kawaki's plans. Boruto is a person that is meant to die because Momoshiki is inside of him. So the Boruto that is currently alive is an imposter. And Boruto is only truly Boruto when he is dead. Kawaki is a consequentialist. So to him, the outcome of Boruto dying is good because it prevents other people from dying in the village. So his actions are then good and justified, as killing one person is better than letting 20 or even 100 die. Also, Boruto being an outsider just helps the village and Kawaki, because nobody would mourn his death. Nobody would be sad if an outsider like Boruto would end up dying. This shows how Kawaki's actions benefited the Leaf yet again, because if Boruto died as the Hokage's son, people would actually feel sad and they would be biased, forgetting that Momoshiki is actually a living threat, and they would feel sad and a lot of his friends might not be able to recover. So, by Boruto and Kawaki's roles being reversed, it prevented people from feeling that sadness and people from mourning his death. But you can say that you disagree with Kawaki and that his way is not right, and he could have done something else to solve this situation. You can say that, but you can't say that he is wrong and you are right, because his actions didn't follow what you deem to be morally right. Because we could say the same thing about your ideologies and your way of thinking. What makes you right above everybody else? Kawaki is neither wrong nor right. He just took the actions that he believed would lead to the best outcome. You may have your own ideologies, you may have your own beliefs, but it doesn't invalidate the beliefs and ideologies of people outside of you. This is why Kawaki is one of the best characters out there, and if you want to learn more about his philosophy and how it clashes with Boruto's belief, watch this video right here.